Hello, Pisces, and welcome to this, your May 15th through May 31st reading and predictions. As you will notice, if you are returning, I am in a different location. I am coming to you from Medicine Hat, Alberta. This is actually in my cousin's man cave because this is the only place I could find where it was going to be quiet enough to be able to do this recording. So enjoy the scenery. And let's get started, Pisces. For those of you who are new here, the way that I work is I work with a number of different decks, including oracle card decks and tarot card decks. And I do 2 readings a month for every single zodiac sign. And each of the readings, we look at where you're at now, here in the middle of May. We look at what you are focusing on. We look at some of your difficult influences. We're going to look at a card that just makes sense. We're going to look at unexpected influences and a general overall outcome. The general overall outcome card is going to be a card of where you are predicted or projected to be at come the end of May. Just a reminder that these are general readings for all of the Pisceans out there, and therefore it's not going to resonate with absolutely each and every one of you. And basically what that means is that the timing just wasn't quite right, but eventually it will resonate with all of the Pisceans. There's an awful lot of you out there, and therefore, you're all at different ages and stages. Okay, let's get going. Where are we going for? Where are the Pisceans at right now? Here, middle of May. Oh, here we go with the messy cards again. Okay, one card out. Let's see if there's anything else. Also, just a reminder, I do leave all of the cards face down until I'm actually ready to read them. And in so doing, a lot more of the psychic or intuitive insights are able to come through rather than me being influenced by what I'm seeing on the table. Okay, so it looks like we have just one card here for you, Pisces, for where you're at now. The next card that we're going to pull for you is the card of what you are focusing on. What are the Pisceans focusing on May 15th through May 31st. We're just going to mix these cards up. Oh, okay. We have one card out, but I was just going to mix them first. Oh, there's actually 2 cards there. Okay. Is there anything else for the Pisces? Yep. Oh, wow. Pisces. You've got a lot that you're focusing on right now. This is telling me that you're being pulled in a lot of different directions. That was the last card out. All right, there we go. Okay, let's have a look at your difficult influences, Pisces. Let's have a look. Where are we going for difficult influences? Yep, over here to the Sacred Traveler Oracle card deck. All right. Difficult influences. So Pisces, how are you feeling? I mean, we've just come through a lunar eclipse earlier in the month. The sun has been pretty active and definitely sending some debris our way. Difficult influences. Huh. Apparently you have nothing difficult going on in your life right now. Oh, there's one. Is there anything else? Any other difficult influences for Pisces? Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's have a look at the card that just makes sense. Now, this particular card is a card that acts 2 different ways for you. One of the ways is if just a whole whack of cards comes out for you, and if you hadn't noticed, I always deal with cards that flip out rather than cards that I pull. If a whole lot of cards come out and the first part of the reading seems a little bit disjointed, The card that makes sense is a card that helps to pull everything together. The other meaning of the card that just makes sense is a lot of the times the card that makes sense has identical meaning to another card in your reading, thus giving you a double reinforcement of one of the meanings of the cards. Okay, is there anything else that just makes sense for the Pisceans? No, okay. All right. Let's have a look at unexpected. Oops, that didn't go away properly. I do like to keep them accessible. There we go. Okay. What is unexpected? All right, we're getting called over here to the tarot deck. Okay. Unexpected insights and influences. Interesting. Try again. There's one. Two cards out. Three. Anything else unexpected? No. Okay. So this is the first one, and this one, oh, actually, there's two cards there. They came out in reverse. That was the next one, and that was the next one. Oh, you've got some reversed cards. We'll have to see what the reversed cards are saying for you, Pisces. And lastly, we are going to pull the cards of your final general overall outcome. The final general overall outcome cards, as I mentioned at the beginning of your video, indicate where you are projected or predicted to be at, what energies will be influencing you come the end of the month. Is there anything else? Anything else? That one wanted to come out, but then it went back in the deck. That one wanted to come out. Okay. All right, Pisces, you do have a lot coming out in reverse. So let's have a look at where you're at now. You have the Unity card for where you're at now. The Unity card is a, oh, we're getting reflection, some pretty severe reflection there. All right. The Unity card is a card of doing the right thing for the right reasons. The Unity card corresponds to the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. And the Hierophant in the traditional tarot is about looking at the past and determining what resonates for us today and what no longer resonates with us. And specifically when it comes to traditions, whether that be religious traditions, whether that be familial traditions, whether that be traditions such as going to a particular school because our parents went to a particular school, whether that be picking up a specific career, because, you know, if our father's a doctor, sometimes we are encouraged to go into medicine. All of these things is what this card is talking about when it comes to our lives. And so this is a card of where you're at now is really digging deep, Pisces, and having a look at what resonates for me. Because a lot of the time, as we change and shift as a society as a whole, what once resonated no longer resonates with us, right? At one time, families had to have quite a number of children, and preferably male children, in order to be able to farm the land and continue to survive and produce enough food to make it through the long winter. Now we all go to grocery stores, and so therefore having 8, 9, 10 children no longer resonates for the majority of us. This is just an example. Okay. And so what this card is telling me, Pisces, is that at this particular time here in the middle of May, what you are actually doing is exploring what's right for me, what's right for my family, what resonates from the past that I can bring forward, and what no longer serves my family? What can I release and let go of when it comes to traditions? And those traditions could be, like I said, educational traditions, religious traditions, any of these things. We change and we shift. All right, let's move into what you're focusing on. Okay. Okay. So you have 5 cards here, Pisces, for what you are focusing on. One of the things that's coming up is that you're focusing on projections. I do believe, I'm not sure if it was you at the beginning of May that had this card again, or if it was one of the other zodiac signs. I can't honestly remember. But one of the things that you're focusing on is projections. And this actually makes sense, because if you have this unity card and you are exploring familial traditions, societal traditions, and you're going, this is no longer working for me, what can actually happen is you can be looking at the projections of others and focusing on, well, that works for them. Maybe that should work for me. And you can be drawn into something that actually doesn't serve you. And so instead, what you're being called upon to do is to understand from a deeper level. You'll notice on this particular card that you have a number of doves. I don't know if this is coming into focus here, but here you have a number of doves and birds all flying around, and they're completely free. And you have another one here that's not free. It doesn't believe that it's free. It's caught behind these bars, but is it? You can see that the door is open and it's looking longingly out at the freedom of these other birds that are out here, thinking, I want to be out there. But is it understanding that it has the capacity and the ability to fly out of this cage and to let go of the past? Obviously not yet, because it's still sitting here. But eventually it will realize that this door is open. And so Pisces, right now, this is an exciting time for you, because you're looking at traditions, what serves you, what no longer serves you. You're looking at the projections of others, right? Others are saying, oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do that. When you get into the shoulds, you're no longer resonating with you. And so with that understanding, that deep understanding that this cage is open, you have permission to move forward with what resonates with you. Life becomes a whole lot more beautiful. So continue to focus on this understanding that you're no longer part of a cage. You're no longer locked inside the cage. The door is open, but it's up to you when you choose to walk through it. It's up to you when you choose to let go of the projections from others. And it's up to you as to when you choose to let go of traditions that no longer serve you. How do you do that, Pisces? Well, the next card that you've got is the Mind card, but this time it's coming up in reverse. What does that mean? It means that when you get out of your mind, freedom is yours. You can have and do whatever you want, but you have to get out of your mind. Okay? When you get out of your mind, and I am reading these in the order in which they came up, when you get out of your mind, this happens. Celebration. Celebration. This card is the equivalent to the 3 of Cups. Then the 3 of Cups is all about cycles. You'll notice 3 women here dancing in the rain and having a little celebration. This is a card about cycles. Everything happens for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Friends come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And yeah, so you are moving out of one season and moving into the next when you realize this cage is open for you. And finally, the final card in your focus is a card of intensity. What is this card telling me? That you are intensely focusing upon making this change and moving into what is new and what is right for you. You are intensely focusing upon looking at the traditions that no longer serve you, looking at the projections of others that no longer serve you. I want to say that for a lot of you, this comes into two areas of your life. One of the areas that in your life is some of you are looking at your familial relationships, your relationships that you have with your family, and what is no longer working for you and what is working. And you are changing, shifting, and adjusting those relationships, whether that means spending more time with family or spending less time with certain members of your family. That's entirely up to you. But this is one of the things that you are looking at and exploring at this time, Pisces. The other thing that you're looking at and exploring that's coming up big for me, predominantly for, I would say, probably easily 80% of you, this is about your family. This is about your relationship with your family. I want to say for the other 20% of you, this is about exploring education and career and the requirements that society deems that we require in order to be able to do a certain job. So, for example, I work as a counselor, okay? And one of the things that I say to people is, look, who do you want counseling you? Do you want someone fresh out of university with absolutely zero life experience, but they can quote Freud and they can tell you all about Pavlov's dogs, but they have no personal life experiences. They have no way to empathize with the emotions that you're going through when you seek them out as a counselor, as you're going through, I don't know, maybe a divorce or maybe one of the other big life changing or life altering experiences. And even when it comes to, for example, menopause, right? I have women that come to me regarding menopause and how their bodies are changing and they need to adjust their mindset with regards to this huge change that happens. Who better to come to? Somebody who has experienced it or is already who is experiencing it, or someone either A, fresh out of university that has no knowledge of the changes that we're going through or no knowledge of going through a divorce personally, or for example, a man, if the issues that you're having is adjusting to moving into the next phase of life as a woman. Do you want to go see a man or go see somebody who's fresh out of university? Or do you want to go and see somebody who has lived those experiences, Pisces, right? You're at that point where you have this intensity to learn and to grow. You are focusing on making huge changes and adjustments in your life. And where you're at is needing some guidance, but you're doing it with such intensity right now. Okay. All right. There was something else that came up. Right. So where I was going with the mentioning that I'm a counselor and mentioning that, who do you want to counsel you? Someone who has lived those life experiences or someone who has a big diploma on the wall but has no life experiences. Okay. This is one of the things that you are currently exploring, Pisces, is you're looking at your current work, job, or career. And like I said, this is more for about 20% of you. You're looking at your work or job where they're saying, you need this qualification and you need that qualification. You need to go back to school and you need to spend tons of money and you need to take a leave of absence in order to go and do this or go do that, and education and all of this. And you're going, I've been doing this job for 20 years. And all of a sudden, someone fresh out of university that got promoted ahead of me is telling me that I have to go back to school and go get a master's degree in order to be able to compete with them. This is part of what this Unity card or this Hierophant card is saying to you, Pisces, is you're exploring this deeply. These projections of society's belief that you need to go out and you need to have 12 diplomas hanging on your wall with a debt of $100,000 in order to be able to be a psychiatrist, for example, versus somebody who has actually lived all of those experiences that their clients are coming to them for. Okay, these are the big questions coming up right now. Let's have a look, Pisces, at your difficult influences. And you do only have one card here for your difficult influences, Pisces, and this is finding sanctuary, opening up to your spiritual source. When we are dealing with these huge issues that I just mentioned that are coming up with this Hierophant or Unity card, when we're looking at the projections of society, when we are trying to escape from a cage and make these huge changes, part of what happens is we don't realize that the lessons we're learning through this process are spiritual lessons. And so we bump into that. So this is one of the difficult influences that you're currently experiencing, Pisces, and that's okay. But what you are being asked to do is bump up or kick up your getting in touch with who you truly are. Okay, you're going to struggle with that a little bit, but as you get in touch with who you truly are, these big questions are going to get answered for you more quickly and more easily. Let's have a look at your This Makes Sense. Right. Take care of your needs is your This Makes Sense card. Okay. And the other thing is, remember what I said? This is interesting. Remember what I said? For approximately 80% of you, this reading is about family and changing the dynamics of your family so that it works better for you. Look at what's on this card. It's the wolf. The wolf is a pack animal. It requires its pack in order to take care of its needs and stay healthy. The lone wolf seldom survives very long alone in the wild. And so this makes sense in that as you are changing the dynamics of your family, in both your immediate family as well as extended family members, as you're changing and shifting and looking at certain things, you have to take care of your needs while at the same time looking at family members and going, okay, this family member, I need to keep them close. They really play an important role in the future that I foresee and the boundaries that I have. Whereas, I don't know, you might have a brother or a sister or an aunt or an uncle who just poke at you and niggle at you all the time, who are hypercritical, and you're going, I don't need those people in my life anymore, right? This is the type of dynamic that's coming up that I'm really feeling and sensing for you. Okay. So in your unexpected, you have 4 cards that came up in your unexpected, and all 4 cards are reversed. Now, remember that these cards jumped out, and I try and keep all of my cards upright. Yep, these ones are all upright, and these all jumped out and landed so that they came up in the reverse. You have the Two of Wands coming up in reverse, and this is a card of surprises, but it's a card of surprise choices. It is the Two of Wands. And so what this card is saying to me and your unexpected influences and insights is that at some point between May 15th and May 31st, there's going to be a choice presented to you, Pisces, and this choice that's presented to you is not necessarily going to be an easy choice. If this card had been presented to you upright, it would be an easier choice, but instead it's presented to you in the reverse, indicating that there is a difficult choice that you're going to have to make. You have the World card upside down again in reverse here in your unexpected influences. And again, this is about setting your sights and setting goals and going, yes, I've got this, I can do this. And yet it seems just out of reach. This makes sense because when we're changing family dynamics, when we're changing decisions, even for the smaller percentage of you who are dealing with some of this stuff going towards looking at education and job and career, what's happening is you're looking at this going, there's my goal, there's my goal, there's my goal. And it always seems like it's one step out of reach. Okay. Another unexpected insight that you've got here or influence is the Nine of Wands in reverse. The Nine of Wands is about fighting battles. Okay. So what this card is telling me, Pisces, is as you're looking at this, the Unity and Hierophant, it may seem like you're taking one step forward and two steps back. Okay. It may appear that way this month, going from May 15th to May 31st. Sorry, there's a little bit of noise happening in the background. Like I said, I'm in a man cave. So there is other work going on in this area. So I do apologize for that background noise. Okay. So yeah, Pisces, like I was saying, is you've got a lot going on at this time, but you need to decide what's really important for you. That's really what's coming up. You also have the Strength card in reverse. And this is a card of the Strength card in reverse. Sorry, I'm getting that reflection again. This Strength card in reverse is a card of bumping up against what's right for me and what is not right for me, what resonates for me and what no longer resonates for me. So all of these unexpected influences are coming up for you. They are all in reverse, but none of them are like super negative. It's just a question of you're really, really bumping into these choices right now. And some of them are not necessarily the easiest choices to make. Okay, so finally, your outcome, Pisces, you have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, and you have the Lover's card in reverse. So you've got a lot of things upside down right now, Pisces. Nothing wrong with that. The Four of Pentacles in reverse is asking you to really, really pay attention to your finances right now. How much do you have coming in versus how much do you have going out? If you've got more going out than what you have coming in, you've got a problem. So come the end of May, be paying really, really close attention to your pennies. Mind your pennies. And you also have the Lover's card in reverse coming up. Now, the Lover's card in reverse coming up makes sense given the relationships that I've been talking about in your whole reading. The Lovers is not always about romantic relationships. The Lovers card indicates relationships in general, specifically relationships with people whom we love. That includes family members. But I mean, we can still love a family member even if we are at that point in our life where we need to keep that family member at arm's length. Right? Where if we have, like I said, an aunt, an uncle, someone in our family who's hyper critical of everything we do, we may choose to only see them once a year. Yep. Either, I don't know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. We see that person once a year, and the rest of the year, I don't know, if need be, we make excuses and just go, sorry, I just can't deal with your stuff. We don't tell them we can't deal with their stuff, but this is one of the things that's coming up with this Lover's card in reverse is that as you're going through this process, Pisces, from May 15th through May 31st, you've got tough choices to make versus of who you're going to let into your life and keep in your life versus who you're going to begin to keep at arm's length. All right. With that, Pisces, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you'll join me again next month. Oh my goodness, next month we'll be into June already. Wow. Okay. So I look forward to seeing all of you next month.